Tactical Mechanic here for another video on all things guns, trucks, and hunting. Today we're going to be doing a little how-to video on replacing a starter. Here's the new one on a 2002 Chevy Tahoe. This will apply for all GMC and Chevy from the year 2000 to about 2007 that had the 5.3 motor in it. They're all just about the same. It's a very tricky starter to do. Most things on these Chevys are easy to work on, but with this, especially being four-wheel drive, is a little tricky. So, just so the video's not that long, I get right into it. I've already got the old starter off. To do this, you're going to need to get the front passenger tire off, as you can see. Get the shroud off so that you can get right in there. The starter is located right in here. As you can see, there's nothing here now because I took the old one out. So the best way to get to it is going to be underneath, and I'll show you that in a second. You will have to go right through there to get the wires disconnected from the starter. Lesson learned on my end, do that before you disconnect the bolts for the starter. It makes getting those off a lot easier. Make sure you disconnect your 3 wires before you disconnect the bolts for the starter. So always be safe when you're doing this. I jacked up my vehicles, as you can see here, and then I also put some blocks, bricks, whatever you want, and I distribute the weight on both of them. So you can see that's not going anywhere, and neither is this. So let's be safe. Put a tire under the front just to make sure. And we'll get under here. And forgive me for the camera moving around a lot. It's a relatively new YouTube channel, so I hadn't gotten to a point where I got fancy cameras and stands to hold them and stuff. But we do what we can. So right here, okay, is where the starter goes into. And then up here are your wires for your starter. So it was really tricky, even once I got all the bolts loose and the wires disconnected, pulling it out, because you can see that metal piece up there with the bolts. That hits the back of your starter. So I had to take a little pry bar, and once I got it to the point, kind of pry the starter past that a little. It didn't take much. Once it did, it just came right out. So I was able to back it out and then drop it down the front of the starter. So right there is where it's going to go in, and you can see the 2 bolts. There are 2 long bolts that go to attach the starter right there. And these are your bolts. There's 2 of these. So they go right there. Once you get that in, you'll attach your wires. There's 3 wires in all, and that's how you'll get it connected up there. So the best way to do this job, and really the only way, is underneath the vehicle. And from that point, it's relatively simple. It's just the 2 bolts are easy to reach from down here, and you'll pull that out. I use a size 13 socket and an extension bar, and it just comes right out. So 2 bolts, 3 wires, and there it is. So any questions, leave some comments.